Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great pleasure to have you all here in our webinar series, Faculty of Dentistry, Master University. Our webinar topic today is about the navigating research excellence, the power of great data. So, as an introduction, the pursuit of research excellence, effective data management as a cornerstone, influencing the quality, efficiency, and collaborative potential of scholarly endeavors. The continuous evolution of great tools and technologies such as research, electronic data capture, and artificial intelligence. Further, perhaps the landscape offering researchers the opportunity to enhance efficiency and accessibility in handling data. The intersection of research excellence and great data management opens avenues for transformative potentials of the researchers. So, please allow me to welcome our speaker for today's webinar, Madam Noor Jannah Noor Azmi. Let me just brief introduce her to you. She is a biostatistics lecturer at Massa University Faculty of Dentistry, holds on a master's degree in medical statistics from University Science Malaysia. She began her career as Center of Excellence for Research in PIDES at the University of Malaya, serving as a data manager, medical statistician for 4 years, at Singapore General Hospital. He introduced the research of electronic data capture, REDCap, at the University of Malaya in 2015. This initiative has had a significant impact with the REDCap now implemented throughout Malaysian institutions, including the Ministry of Health. Her involvement to various webinars highlighting her contribution to knowledge beyond educational platform. So please welcome Puan Noor Jannah and enjoy the webinar for today. Welcome, Madam Jannah. I leave the stage for you. Good luck for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sharif, for the great introduction. Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. So, as mentioned by Dr. Sharif, I'm going to discuss about the topic, the power of great data management in research process, in the research project. Because I believe the effective of data management will lead to successful research project. So previously, I have many experience handling with many types of data set, and then I also have accounted a situation where data management can actually lead to unpublished outcomes from the research. So this is one of the reasons why I found the data management is a very essential step that you have to apply in your research project, starting from the beginning of the research project until at the end. Have you ever conducted a research with your team members? You have many research assistants in your teams. You have data manager, you have statistician, you also have master and PhD students. So how did you communicate with your team members? How did you do data sharing with your team members? Have you ever saved your data into a flash drive and then suddenly it got lost or broken? Or maybe have you ever collected data and then in the future or in a later on a few months later, okay, when you come back to the data and then you find that you had trouble understanding it. Okay, what if your data fell into the wrong hands? In the age of digital transformation, we nowadays always store and also process our data electronically. Okay, so when we store our data electronically, there is a potential of the data leaking, data breaching, and then suddenly the data falls into the wrong hand. So what we're gonna do about this? What we're gonna do when our passions, confidentiality exposed or leaked to the world? So what if this was your office? So have you done any regular data backup previously? If something like this happened to you, what are you going to, how are you going to conduct the research project? So what if this was your backpack? So this backpack actually was missing at Singapore Changi Airport, and then in this backpack they have a wallet, laptop, and also hard disk containing unpublished project file and also videos. If something happen like this to you, what are you going to do? So these are the reason why we want to manage our data properly. Of course, we don't want to have any trouble to our research journey. We want to make sure our research journey easier, right? And then we want to find our data more easily. We don't want to collect any irrelevant data, and then don't want to lose any data at all. So research today not only has to be innovative, creative, or maybe you want to create something new, but it also has to be organized. Because in order for you to get the great outcomes or great findings, you have to make sure data is your research project as well as the data is properly organized so that you should be able to transform into clinical practice. So now I'm going to go deeper into the data management best practices. Okay, in the research data management, we always start with the data management planning, and then during data management planning stage, okay, we can put everything related to the research project. So usually, we can do the data management planning when we submitting our research proposal and also our grant. Okay, during the after data management planning, you can plan for the data collection, data organization, data storage, processing and analysis, sharing, and also preservation. So I'm going to provide you a real life scenario in a research team. So in this research team, so we have three people working together for a research project. So we have Professor Miller working as a Massa University. So he's the principal investigator in the project. So he invited Prof. Mark, which is from University Malaya, to be involved in the research project. And then they also have Miss Melinda, the PhD student. So her responsibility is to do the data collection and also do the data analysis. So I'm going to provide you the overview of the research project that they are planning to use. So Professor Miller, which is the principal investigator in the project, so he's actually the cardiologist. So he's going to do a clinical study on a new medication for heart failure. So his responsibility is to oversee patient recruitment, treatment protocols, and also outcome assessment in the study. So why Prof. Mark was invited by Prof. Miller to be involved in the project. So Prof. Mark is responsible to do the analyze blood sample from study participant to assess drug levels and also biochemical markers. While Miss Melinda is working under Prof. Mark's supervision. She's a PhD student, so her responsibility is to conduct laboratory tests, process blood sample, and also do data analysis. So this is the list of the team members that they have. So after that, the two professors, Professor Miller and Professor Mark, write a proposal and submit it to Massa University for findings. So after that, both Professor Miller and Professor Mark are starting their research project journey. So what is the first thing that they're going to do? They can go straight away, begin collecting data, or they can go establishing a data management plan together. So before you do data collection, okay, before you start your data collection, the first thing that you have to do is you have to establish a data management plans. So everyone in the team should aware what's going on in the project. Where are you going to enter the data? For example, what is the data storage? Who can who can access to the data, and then so on. So after that, after 9 months into the project, so Prof. Mark is interested with the raw data from a specific experiment. So the Miss Melinda, she's responsible to collect the data, okay, and then also store the data. So she has problem assessing the data from her lab proprietary notes or existing record. So this is something that we want to be avoided when we do a research project, which is data missing. So what is the potential conclusions or consequences that might arise from the fact that Miss Melinda was unable to provide the raw data? Okay, so the fact that the experiment outcome might not be seen as trustworthy and also reliable. So this is something that we want to be avoided when we carry out the research project. So this is the reason why we have to plan properly what we are going to do throughout our research journey. So after a while, Miss Melinda able to locate the raw data. So it found that it was actually accidentally misplaced. So in this case, we can see that Miss Melinda is not organized person. Okay, Miss Melinda is not organized person. She couldn't find the data that was stored previously. So Prof Mark came in and then he managed to resolve the issue. So after 1 year in the research, Prof. Mark, which is the co-PI in the study, was invited to deliver a lecture on the project at another university. So he's very keen to present the research, and then he accepted the invitation without informing Prof. Miller, which is the PI of the study. So what do you think about the Prof. Mark behavior? What do you think about Prof. Mark's behavior? Actually, Prof Mark behavior is not ethical and also reasonable. So it will be appropriate if Prof Mark can actually consult with Prof Miller before he accepted the invitation. So is responsible for data management? So everyone in the team is responsible for the data management. So in the beginning of the research project, the principal investigator or the PI of the study should ensure the quality of the data collection, should know about the storage, and then who can access to the data, and they should be informed, and then the person should inform to the team members. And then the collaborators also should discuss about the data standard so that everyone in the team can adhere to best practice in the data management so that everyone can build trust and also collaboration among the team members in the research team. Now I'm going to go deeper into data management plans, how I'm going to prepare the data management plans. So the first thing, a data management plan can be done when you write a research proposal. You have to be clear about your research hypothesis and also your research question because this will guide you in preparing data management plan. So during the planning, you have to know what kind of data that you will have to collect. Okay, is it numerical data or is it categorical data? Are you going to adapt the existing? Are you going to adopt the existing questionnaire? Are you going to prepare the questionnaire by yourself? Or if you do a lab study, how are you going to record all the data? And then who are going to collect the data? Who will enter the data? And then where are you going to enter the data? So are there any ethical consideration that will affect the data collection? So everything have to be written in the data management plans. So this is where data management plans come in. We call it DMPs. So DMP is a formal plan that actually outline how the data will be managed, organized, stored, and also shared throughout the life cycle of a research project. So you cannot simply share your data set through WhatsApp or through email. So you must have protocol how to share your research data. So data management plan can be written in many ways. So many institutions nowadays you already provide the template for the data management plans. So you can just use the template provided by the institution, or you can just prepare nicely the data management plans in the Microsoft Word. So this is where I found online. So you can also use this template as well. You can go to this link and then you can create account and then you can see the data management plans can be written by using this website. So you can write how are you going to do the data collection, how are you going to use it, how are you going to apply the documentation and also metadata, how about ethics and also legal compliance, storage and backup, and then so on. So all of these must be properly planned and written in the data management plan, and it's already been applied before you starting with the data collection. So in the research team, you should assign someone that is responsible for the data management practices. So this person will make sure that everyone in the team adhere to 5 naming conventions. So this is the common, it's a common things that people always that people don't take it seriously. 5 naming convention. So you should have the person also should know about the minimum documentation. Okay, so that everyone can follow the version control, and then this person also can do regular data backup. So now I'm going into data organization and also storage. So you already prepared a data management plan. Okay, so before collecting the data, you have to prepare the template. Template is for you to enter your research data. So I noticed that many people like to use Excel to enter your data. Like for me personally, I don't like using Excel because Excel is not designed to keep our research data. So we tend to make a lot of mistake, especially when you do statistical analysis later on. You have to do a lot of modification before you do statistical analysis, especially when you have a lot of data. So you have to decide which platform you are going to use. You can use Excel. Some people use Access, or you can directly enter your data into statistical software, or you can use online research database. We call it REDCap. So I'm going to explain to you about REDCap later on in detail. And then you have to think ahead. When preparing a template, you have to think what type of variable that you are going to put in, and then what kind of statistical analysis that you are planning to use. Okay, so this is the most important thing that you have to know, because the way we prepare the template is how we are going to analyze the data later on. So this is the reason why you have to put the intended statistical analysis when you prepare the research proposal, so that you should be able to guide you when you're preparing the template for research study. So after that, while preparing the template, you have to make sure to enter all the variable according to your data collection form. For example, you have like 50 questions in your data collection form. So you have to enter everything in your template. For example, in this case, I have like 10 questions. Okay, 10 questions. So all categorical variables should be coded. So everything here must be entered into the template. For example, program, okay? And then the answers here, you have to put in 1 for medicine, 2 for dentistry. For gender, 1 for female, 2 for female. If you have a question that has no, so make sure you use 0 for no, 1 to yes. So you cannot simply put any numbers. So you have to follow we have the rules what we have to put when we do the coding. So all categorical variables should be coded, but for numerical variable, you don't have to code anything. So when you do the data entry, you have to make sure everything have to be consistent. If you decide to use Excel, for example, this is a reason why I don't like using Excel in the first place, because you have to make sure everyone in the team or everyone who are going to do the data entry are trained, okay, are trained, and also they already been informed that what kind of format they are going to use to enter the data into the template. For example, for the date of birth, okay, it's a date format, so you are advised to use this kind of format. And then for sex, we have decided to use F and also M, F female and male. But the bad example is that you can see the date format is very messy. Same goes with the set. So we cannot analyze this kind of data. So prior to the analysis, you have to modify all data all over again. So actually, I have experience with this kind of situation previously. So in the research project, we have 4 research assistants. So every research assistant has their own Excel template, as their own Excel spreadsheet. So every research assistant enter the data in their own way. So when we combine everything together, all the data look different. All the data are not consistent and different. So what we did was we have to enter everything all over again according to physical questionnaire. So that time we use the hard copy of the questionnaire, so we have to re-enter everything all over again. So this is the cost. If you is the consequences of not following the data management plan. So once you have prepared the template, you have to prepare a code book. Code book is basically the list of variables that you have entered in the template together with the data type, the description about the variable, codes, what is one, what is two, and then so on. This code book is very helpful for you in the future. For example, a few years later, you want to come back to this data set and see what you can do with the data set. So you don't know what is the meaning of this variable. So you have the code book that actually can guide you can guide you to understand each of the variable. And the next one is the file organization. I think most of you have this kind of file organization, right? Because we keep changing our file through WhatsApp and also email. And I noticed that some people don't have file organization or maybe different way of naming the file. So file organization is very important. I always receive, students always came meet me and then ask me where they actually save their data because they don't know where they save their data. I wasn't the one who saved the data for you. So you yourself, you should know where you are at, where you actually save the data, and then you should name it properly. Okay, you should have a folder specifically for your research, and then you should name it properly. Okay, we have ways of to organize our data, to organize our file is by using the file naming convention. So file naming convention will help you stay organized and you should be able to quickly identify your file. Okay, this is example of the files without naming convention. This is example of the file with naming convention. So actually we have many tips for file naming. For this one, so use the file name that is short and also relevant. You can also use date format, year, month, and day. So I like to use this. I like to use this kind of format. I like to put date when I save my file. Okay, for example, this one. So this is the correct way of naming our file. So you should start with the date. For example, year, month, and also day, and then the name of the file. Do not follow this one. So this one is very messy. You can see sometimes the date at the front and then sometimes the date at the back. So you should make sure everything is organized so that you can locate the file easily. And the second one, you can also use numbers 0 to 9. Okay, this is something that I like as well. For example, dataset phase 1 V01. So this is the first version. So you have to put 0 because we don't know how many files that we're going to have later on. So you can just put 0. But this one doesn't have any 0. Okay, so it's better if you use this one. Put 0 before the number. So after that, you have to find out where to store your data. Data can be stored by using local storage. For example, you can store at your computer hard drive or external drive, or you can use cloud storage. This is always the common thing that people always use. You can store in OneDrive, Google Drive, and also Dropbox, or you can also save at somebody else's drive. But the problem is what happens if you lose your data? What happens if your drive broken or maybe you don't remember your password, so what you gonna do? So this is the reason why you have to do data backup. So you have to follow 3-2-1 backup rule. So create 3 copies of the data. Okay, first you have to create 3 copies of the data, and then you have to save the 2 copies on different storage media. For example, okay, I'm going to save my data in the OneDrive and also external hard drive. So after that, you have to copy. You have to store another copy on an offsite storage. So this copy can be saved outside institution. So now I'm going to go deeper into data management with electronic data capture, or we call it REDCap. So REDCap is something that I'm very, very interested in. that I'm very, very interested in because I never seen something like this in my life. I tried to find something that is similar with REDCap, but I still cannot find it. So if you are able to use REDCap in future, you can actually skip many things that I mentioned previously. For example, you can skip prepare the template, you can skip preparing the code book, and then so on. Okay. REDCap stands for Research Electronic Data Capture. REDCap is a secure web application for building and also managing online service and also databases. So many people nowadays, especially students, they like to use Google Form uh, to manage their online service. Google Form is not designed for research project. It's just for overall survey. So not they don't have many application that can help you for your research project. So REDCap is a web application that can help you to manage all your research data. So it doesn't matter what kind of study design you use for the survey, randomized control trial. So any type of study design you can use REDCap. It is geared to support online and also offline data capture for research studies and also operation. REDCap can be used for research and also for non-research purposes. You can also enter the data into REDCap without having internet connection as well. REDCap was developed in University of Vanderbilt in 2004. So it's currently being used in more than 7,000 institutions in 156 countries all over the world. So now it's already generated over 2 million projects from over 3 million users. So this is the list of the institutions that currently using REDCap in 156 countries all over the world. So you can see how good REDCap is and then how famous REDCap is because people keep using it. So last time back in 2015, I happened to go to Singapore to see how they manage the system because that time we don't have any institution using REDCap in Malaysia. So I went to Singapore and then see how they manage the system. It was quite interesting how they link REDCap with their passions record. So that when they do their research project, they can just extract the information that they want from the patient's record to REDCap. So now in Malaysia, we have 14 institutions currently using REDCap. We have many hospitals. We have Hospital Penang, we have USM, we have Monash University, we have UPM, Ministry of Health, Oral Cancer Research and Coordinating Center, and then so on. So last time I collaborated back in 2015, I collaborated with Yale University so that I can bring in REDCap into Malaysia. So that was the first one in Malaysia. So it was the first one in Malaysia and also as well. So with that time, we managed to save a lot of research project because last time we have many problems with research project. So REDCap comes in. So we found the solution. So why I think that REDCap is very beneficial for every research project. So I have my own reason. First, you can do online and also offline project design. So it doesn't matter whether you have internet connection, you can do the designing process. And the second one, it is secure and also web-based. All right. Although it was developed from University of Vanderbilt, but every institution that own REDCap has their own server. Okay, so every project that you created and you stored in REDCap will be automatically saved into the server. And then it is multi-site access, which is it can be, let's say if you have team members into your project and then the team members are from other institution from Malaysia or outside Malaysia, so you can add everyone in your team members to be in the project so that they can see what's going on with the project. And then the data that's stored into REDCap can be automatically exported to SPSS, R, Stata, and also SAS. if you use Google Form or if you use Excel, for example, there you have to do many modification to your data in order for you to make sure you can import the data into the statistical programming. But if you use REDCap, you can straight away import to this statistical programming. Then the next thing that I think is very interesting is that how REDCap can actually link with the health record. This is very interesting, especially if you want to do research that have that involve patients, right? So you don't have to go to the hospital or to go to the clinic and then go to the patient folders, for example, because it's already linked with REDCap. And then REDCap is also available in multiple languages. It also has REDCap mobile app. You can be installed into Android and also iOS. For example, if you want to collect the data, if you want to meet your patient, what you can do is you can just bring your iPad and you can enter everything into iPad without having internet connection. So you don't need to have any internet connection at all. So once you have the internet connection, REDCap will automatically sync into the REDCap server. Although REDCap sounds maybe complicated, but it's actually user friendly. So you can do many things in REDCap and you don't have to have any programming experience at all. Okay, for example, this is the common thing that we always do when we involve in a big research project. So usually the researcher will the researcher will decide to create custom database. They create a custom database will cost a lot of money. I have experience with this kind of situation as well. So we spend about 1 million to create a custom database. Eventually, because the person who created the database has no experience in research and then no experience in statistical analysis, so the person just created the database and then it cannot be modified as well. So eventually, you will be having the problem at the end of the study project. But if you use REDCap because it's online, you can just assign someone in your team or a few person in your team to manage everything in the REDCap. So you can create a template, you can assign everyone, your team members to be in your project, you do the data collection, you do the data cleaning in REDCap, and then after that you can automatically export the data into statistical programming, and then you can just do the statistical analysis right away. So we have a lot of purposes why I always ask people just use REDCap, just use REDCap. So once we have account in our REDCap, you can just create as many projects as you want. Okay, you can create data forms, you can create surveys, we also have activity logging or audit trail where we can keep track what everyone is doing. You can also download PDF of blank or completed form. You can also import your data into Excel. For example, you already have data ready in Excel and then you want to import into REDCap, also can. You can export the data into statistical programming. You can also add all your team members into your project. You can create report. You can download the app and then so on. So this is the example of the projects listed in REDCap. So this is actually my account. So you can do REDCap for many things. You can do for administrative accounts. You can do for administrative purposes. You can also use for research purposes. Okay. So once you have the account, you can create as many projects as you want. Okay, so this is an example of the data collection form or case report form that we have in every project. So every project, of course, will have different kind of case report form. In the left panel, you can see we have the control menus where you can freely click what you are interested to do, and then we have the data collection instrument. For example, if you do a questionnaire, you can see we have a different section of questionnaire here. So this is the case report form where you can enter the data easily into this form, or if you ask someone else to answer the survey, all the answer will be automatically appeared in this form. This is the data import tool where you can import your data directly into REDCap. For example, you already have your data ready in Excel file, and then you can just easily import the data into REDCap. And then we also have data export tool. So every data stored in REDCap can be easily exported to Excel, SPSS, SAS, R, Stata, and also XML. Okay, this is the template that you can use when you prepare your data, when you prepare the template in REDCap. So we have database, classic database. We have a longitudinal database. So this one is for randomized control trial. So this template is actually depends on the study design that you are doing. If you use a cross-sectional study, you can just choose a classic database. But if you use experimental study, okay, you can use longitudinal database or with one arm or two arms. And then we also have record status dashboard where you can keep track, whether the data already been entered or answered properly or not. So the green button here means that this one is for case number one, participant number one, for example. So green button means that the data already been completed. Yellow button means unverified. Maybe this person wants to come back to this section and then you want to answer it again. This one is incomplete. The red button means incomplete data. And then we also have study calendar where you can schedule your participant or patient in the calendar. Okay, so you can keep track when is the next follow-up for every patient that you schedule. And then we also have user permissions, right? Where you can add all the team members that you have in the project in all the team members into your research project, and then you can assign them with different tasks. For example, okay, I want this person to view and edit all the data. I want this person to read only. I want this person to only have access to certain section. You can also give responsibilities. For example, okay, this person, I want him to have access to stats and chart and also file respiratory. That's it. So you can assign your team members with different kind of, we call it privileges. You can also create custom report. For example, here we have different kind of instrument. So you can just click any instrument that you are interested in and you can just create a custom report, and then you can also download the report for your reference. We also have stats and chart. Usually, so stat and chart is actually for descriptive statistic. For normal research, if you do the research in Google Form, you have to import the data to Excel. You do a little bit of modification because you cannot directly import everything into SPSS, for example, and then you analyze the descriptive statistics. So that's a long way. But here, what you can do is you can just click stats and chart, and then you can see everything related to descriptive statistics available under stats and also charts. We also have field type. So field type is very important during the earlier stage of preparing the template. So this one is to guide you how to prepare how to add on the question. For example, for the multiple choice question, you can use drop down list or radio button. You can also use chat boxes question. You can also use a yes or no, true, false, and then so on. We also have REDCap shared form library where many validated questionnaire or many validated data collection form already available in the REDCap. For example, let's say I'm gonna find DAS21. So you search DAS21 in this keyword search, and then you find the questionnaire, and then after that, you import this questionnaire into your research project. So you don't have to go to previous study and then see the questionnaire that they use because everything is already available in the library. And then we also have REDCap mobile app, which can be downloaded to iOS and also Android. So this mobile app can also be used where you don't have any internet connection at all. So this is actually very interesting because we know not every location has a internet connection. So when we don't have internet connection, you can just you can just bring your iPad and you can just put everything in the iPad. So once you have the internet connection back, REDCap will automatically sync everything into the REDCap server. And then we also have REDCap Messenger, where you can chat with your team members in the REDCap. And then we also have any notification from the REDCap administrator, the one who manage all the system, can also be seen in this REDCap Messenger. The thing is, I'm very frustrated because I've been trying to bring in to bring in REDCap previously, but the thing is REDCap is only applicable for non-profit organization. So I tried my best before, but because of this situation, I cannot bring in REDCap into our institution. So I tried to find something else that have a similar application with REDCap. So far, I found Open Clinica, Caster, Madrio, SurveyMonkey, Quadric, and then so on. But the thing is, these software are not as good as REDCap, because REDCap was developed from the University of Vanderbilt, so developed for University of Vanderbilt from a research center. So the person who created this REDCap have so much experience with research, so they know from A to Z from research project. So any kind of study design can use REDCap. So the impact of good data management is that I hope so far you have an idea about the data management best practices, but a good data management best practices. So this is something that I did previously. So this one I was involved in a research project. It's a very big research project. We have it was funded by, I think it was funded by a World Bank. So we collaborated with Yale University. Yale University. We collaborated with University of Florida. We want to see the we want to see the effectiveness between between the compulsory drug detention center, or we call it Pusat Serenity, and then we compare it with those from voluntary methadone treatment center in Malaysia. So what I found that this project apply data management from the beginning of the research project. So the beginning of the research project. So I can see why the data management in a very research project in a research project, especially when you deal with a lot of data, when you deal with data that require you to do for a long period. Okay, this is the reason why data management is a very important in every research project. So now I would like to urge everyone to implement data management plans for your current and also your upcoming research project. So it's not too late to implement data management plan, because right now we always stick with traditional way of doing research. We use Excel, we use Google Form. Now everything is changing. Now everything is changing. You can explore and try to adopt modern data management tool, and then you can see that it's very interesting to explore this thing because it will make your research easier. Okay. Um, so I really hope that you have an idea about the data management plan, and I hope for your upcoming research project you will adopt data management best practices into your research project. You can also collaborate with your colleagues or anyone that expert in data management, okay, so that you will be able to have, or maybe to upgrade your skill and also knowledge in this area. So I think that's all from me. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Jannah. It was a great presentation, and we are happy to having you here. From my side, no
From my
question.
side, no
I
question.
don't see any question also
See any
from my
question
side,
also.
unless there is a lot of
Unless there is a lot of from
and there is a good
and there is a good
presentation. I think now we can
I think
continue
now we
also
can
if you
continue
have
also. You have
another few things to add.
another few things to add.
Sorry, I cannot hear you clearly. I think it's breaking.
I say so far no
I say
questions
so far no questions.
Okay.
except there is a lot of
That there is a
congratulations
lot of contact
presentation.
in the presentation.
If you have anything to
You
add
have
on,
anything to add on?
I think that's all from me. Yeah. If you have anyone has any question related to the data management, you can just ask me directly after this. Yeah.
sure, sure. Thank you very much
Thank you
and
very
nice talking
much.
to
Nice
us. We
us.
would like to thank all
Would
our
like to thank
viewers
all
for
our
your support
support.
and see you next time in
See you
another
next time in another.
podcast. Have a good day all.
Have a good day
And
all.
see you soon.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank